We live in an age where people obtain their news and information from more sources than could ever be imagined. Much of the information swirling around us on all forms of media is not verified by those who run the platforms. The result? We are drowning in fake news, alternative facts, gaslighting, propaganda, false claims, and more. The bottom line is we have facts, we have disinformation, and we have misinformation. Let's look at disinformation and misinformation. Disinformation is the intentional use of information to deceive people into believing things that are not true, usually for negative reasons. Disinformation is created to deceive and manipulate outcomes. Misinformation can be any kind of incorrect information that people share. It may or may not have bad intent. It can even be someone passing on disinformation that they did not adequately check out. Let me give you one example. I was at a government meeting where the leader of the meeting made a rather remarkable statement. I noted the statement and sent more than one request for an explanation of where the statement originated. When I received the response, the elected government official said they saw it on Instagram. I asked for the reference, and the response was they couldn't remember when they saw it. My research could not verify that the information was correct, but still, that statement was quoted in the local newspaper. Here's a question. We know lots of people create disinformation, but why do so many people believe the disinformation and misinformation they hear or read or see? Much has to do with confirming things we already believe based on our own biases. If I believe a person in an important position will always tell the truth, it is unlikely I will check to see if that person said something that was not true. People want to have their beliefs confirmed, so they tend not to fact-check information when it confirms their biases. Another example is wanting to belong. If the group we belong to believes something that is not true, we tend not to question because we don't want to be negative or we don't want to be ostracized by the group. The degree to which we accept whatever is said by a person or a group we trust can be extreme and lead to huge expansion of disinformation. I could provide more examples, but it's better for us to look at what we can do to avoid believing disinformation or misinformation and passing it on to others. First, educate yourself. Understand what disinformation is and how it spreads. You're doing that right now. Verify. Before believing or sharing information, check its source and credibility. Do some fact-checking. Use multiple sources and outlets for your news. Think critically. Be skeptical. If a claim seems sensational or fantastic, it very well could be disinformation or misinformation. Check the dates. Make sure you are not looking at information that has already been debunked. Know who you can trust. This is a hard one and beyond what I can cover in these few minutes. Finally, be aware of your own biases and don't allow them to permit you to ignore the other suggestions that I'm talking about. The fact is, we are surrounded with disinformation, and the technology advances we are making are only making it harder to fact check that information. I hope the few points that I've brought up to you tonight will help you to identify misinformation and disinformation. I'm Alan Swanson. Thank you for listening.